What's going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 155. And today we're going to break down the week that was in week 21 because we are in the final week of the regular season. Jason Ashby, how are you feeling here in week number 22, sir?
Uh, just can't believe we're here. I feel like it was yesterday when we were like, "Hey guys, welcome to the 2024 season." And now we're here at the end, and a lot of hearts broken, a lot of dreams crushed, and six guys trying to figure it all out.
We've got six names in the pot right now with two on the outside looking in, and it looks like this is going to be the six. We're going to highlight exactly what's going on in the standings here as we go along, but let's dive right into this thing. Let's start with a big matchup here. It was the premier matchup, it was a playoff sort of play in matchup. Bobby Russo taking on Henry Collins, and Henry gets himself the 12-7 win this week. On Sunday, it was 10-7 going in. So Bobby takes steals but committed an error, and Henry tied innings pitched and took relief appearances for this incredibly crucial playoff implicated matchup. Close categories this week. Henry wins by 4 runs, a walk by a hitter, an error, 2 losses, and a relief appearance. Bobby wins by that stolen base, and they tied in triples and innings pitched of all crazy things.
Yeah, and we'll get into it for Bobby, but it could have he could have found a way to get those innings in. Um, but it's funny because you call it, usually you say the play-in matchups for the week, the final week, but this essentially was a play-in matchup.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't, it was still another week before the playoffs. That's essentially what this was, and it was really fun to watch. Do the research on this and watch this matchup go because it was a little bit all over the place.
It seems to be. It looks like a real offensive, an interesting offensive output here from both Henry and Bobby. Only 2 homers, but a 224 batting average from Henry. So, like,
And 12 homers from Henry, but he lost RBIs. So
yeah,
yeah, very very weird stat line.
bizarre stat line. For Henry on his bench this week, he goes 11 for 31. That's a 355 batting average, 6 runs, 3 doubles, a homer, 2 RBIs, a steal, 4 walks, and 9 strikeouts. The steal is on Friday. It's the only thing that really plays here. It's Andres Jimenez over Dylan Moore. Dylan Moore, of course, being the guy who stole 3 bags for him last week, and I guess he really needed that steal. He just had it in the wrong spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jimenez had a big day on Friday. He had a homer and a double and a steal, and yeah, all on the bench.
Yikes. Absolutely ridiculous. This late in the season to have that on the bench
Yep.
hurts. It
Yep.
hurts. Looks like he used 7 moves this week. He added Brant, not Brent.
No pitch brand.
It's Brant Hunter. 5 innings, a win, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, a 360 and a 120 against the Angels. He dropped Colby Allard for that guy. He dropped Jose Quintana for Alejandro Kirk, 1 for 4. Dropped Brant Hunter for JT Ginn, famously of the Robinson Cano Edwin Diaz trade.
Yes.
5 innings, 2 homers, a walk, 4 strikeouts, a 720 and a 1 in Cincinnati. He dropped Ginn for Martin Perez, who was bad in Tampa. He dropped Perez for Kevin Kelly, who gave him a clean relief appearance, and dropped Kevin Kelly for Craig Kimbrell off of waivers, who did not pitch after taking the L the day before. So you picked up that guy. He's not going to close, but okay.
Yeah, and he was pitching in cores like
Hmm.
that seemed like a burn of a waiver ad to me.
Yeah. Alejandro Kirk gets dropped for Luke Raley, who had a solo home run and went 2 for 4 with a strikeout. His MVP this week, once again, is Bobby Witt. How the league would be different if Bobby Witt had made it just one more spot in the draft. How different the league might be.
Hmm.
However, Bobby Witt, 226 with a 333 on base, 6 runs, 2 doubles, 4 homers, 4 RBIs, a steal, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Looks like with a shout out to Jurickson Profar, who had 9 walks.
But that was it.
But that was it. He hit 045. The least valuable hitter goes to Garcia or Kepler or Jimenez because he was benched on his one good day. Bunch of guys not really pulling their weight here.
Yeah, Kepler didn't have a hit the whole week, so not good.
Yeah, that's probably the guy. He had 2 strikeouts and no hits on the week.
Yeah.
The Cy Young, welcome back from the IL, Zach Eflin. He had a nice start here this week. 7 innings, a win, a walk, 9 strikeouts, 1 earned, and an 071 whip. The Cy Young goes to Tyson Miller, who had a relief appearance. 1 bad relief appearance over 3 outings. So
yeah, I mean he
has a 16-20 and a 240 on the whip.
Yeah, Henry had a pretty good pitching week. Nobody really blew up this week. That was the only one in double digits anyway. So that's one that kind of stood out.
Yeah, 3.5 on the ERA, which is pretty serviceable. That's going to compete most weeks.
Yeah.
For Bobby on his bench this week, he goes 2 for 9. That's a 222 batting average with a run, a homer, 3 RBIs, and a walk. The walk came on Saturday. What do we know about this?
It was David Fry off the bench. That sucks. That sucks.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah,
that's terrible. He also had some innings in relief.
Yeah, so there was a relief appearance from Drew Smiley back on Wednesday. It was a 2-inning relief appearance, and that would have been the difference.
Yeah, that would have given him a relief appearance tie, and he would have gotten the innings out of it. That would have made it 11-8. That's a much different score.
Yeah, and that's on Wednesday. So, your strategy throughout the rest of the week may have changed to who knows, but it could have been a much different story if one Drew Smiley appearance is all it took.
Yeah. He used 9 moves this week. He drops Luis Ortiz and Jonathan Cannon for Jorge Alcala, who had a clean relief appearance. He then picked up Joey Wentz, who must have gone back to working at Rite Aid or driving Uber, as he did not pitch this week for
and then
him.
He got DFA'd, so that happened.
Oh, so he really is going to go bag groceries right now.
Yes, he is.
That is fantastic. Big August 29th, he drops 4 players, Wyatt Langford, Michael Busch, Jorge Alcala, and Joey Wentz, who went 2 innings and had 3 strikeouts in his relief appearance that day. For Max Schumann, 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Seth Brown, 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Addison Barger, 1 for 4 with a double and a strikeout, and Danny Jansen, 1 for 3. Overall, a pretty good day, dropping 4 dudes into your lineup.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah. He drops Danny Jansen for Robert Garcia, clean relief appearance. Drops Max Schumann for Joey Ortiz, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. And drops Seth Brown for Otto Lopez, 0 for 3 with a run, a stolen base, a walk, and a strikeout. So the stolen base is pretty important here as he picked that up on Saturday.
Yep, that was huge.
His MVP is going to be Anthony Volpe. Who saw this coming?
He did.
429 with a 435 on base percentage, 4 runs, a double, 5 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, a walk, 2 strikeouts, and an error. The least valuable hitter is TJ Friedel, despite having a triple, 148 with 250 on base, the run, the triple, 5 RBIs, 2 walks, and a strikeout. But yeah, he was bad other than those counting stats, the 5 RBIs and the triple.
Yeah, it really didn't. He really didn't do a whole lot. He had an 0 for 6 during a doubleheader, and yeah, it wasn't a great week aside from that triple.
Yeah, Michael Busch hit 091 as well before getting dropped for the week. So, yeah. The Cy Young this week goes to Bowden Francis yet again. 7 innings, a win, 5 strikeouts, nothing earned, and an 0-1-4 whip. This was another no-hitter experience, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and his last 4 starts, he's gone at least 7 innings, and has just absolutely owned everybody he's pitched against.
Yeah, he has been absolutely nasty. And A nice little run here in the late part of the season. It reminds me of Ian Anderson on the Braves, or
Yeah. Yep.
someone in that ilk where they come up and they've got electric stuff, but is it stuff that'll last for a full season? I don't know. 78 and 2/3 over this season, 366 with an 099 whip. He's got 8 wins. He's got about a strikeout an inning. I guess he could be good, but could this just be Alek Manoah?
It could be. Yeah, I don't know what to make of this kid at all. Uh, I can't even think about next year yet, but I don't
Yeah.
know where where he fits in the puzzle. But I guess he's going to be there for the Jays. There's no reason for him not to be. So.
Yeah, I mean, you're pitching like this at the end of the season. You're going to get a look in spring training at the bare minimum, and
Mhm.
with every opportunity to make that rotation as it stands right now. But
Yeah.
we've got a whole off season to go. The Cy Yuck this week goes to Logan Webb. He had a bad week: 11 innings, a loss, 3 bombs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, an 818 and a 136. He's been so good all year, and this is the week he decides to shit the bed.
Yeah, especially on Sunday against the Marlins of all teams. Like, yeah, that's not good.
No, that's fucking horrible. And so with this win, Henry catapults himself into the 6th seed, and we find Bobby on the outside looking in, 1 game over 500 in the Bob spot, as we like to say. It's unfortunately where he sits this late in the season, and he is 7 games back.
Yeah, and you know, it's I guess it's poetic maybe that he has been this week to close out the season. While Henry takes on Josh, who kind of is locked into the bye. So it's gonna take if anything, a big win over Ben and a big loss from Henry for this to be something.
Yeah, yeah. Now no longer does Bobby control his destiny. He had both of these guys, Henry and Ben, back to back at the end of the season, and if he wins both those matchups, he goes to the playoffs. He loses here and does not control his destiny against Ben, because even if he blows him out, there's no guarantee that Henry doesn't get a blowout win too and just put this thing to bed.
Right.
Um, I think Henry is safe if he can get 10 this week. I think that's probably a number he should shoot for, but even if he gets 8, I feel like he's going to be pretty in
Yeah.
this thing.
Yeah. We'll be talking about a very exciting week if next week if we're talking about Bobby being in the playoffs.
Yes. Yes, it will be a magical, miraculous end of the season, and there's still hope for yet another manager despite a loss this week. We are going to talk about Ben Nisman and Costas Paragis. This is a very surprising outcome. This 13-7,
13-6.
13-6 loss this week. Yikes. What a bad week for Ben this week. And you know what? It's actually one of the better weeks he's had on the hitting side
Yeah.
over the last few weeks. But Costas just, he hit 3 1/4 this week, guys.
Yeah. With a 364 on base. And
Yeah.
neither of the pitching was all that great. It's just Casas was less not great.
Yeah. Yeah. On Sunday going in, it was 12-8 in favor of Costas. Ben committed an error and walked too many guys on the pitching side. And Costas, for all intents and purposes, I think ended our commissioner season here.
Yeah. Again, it'll be a big turnover for something to happen.
Yeah. I mean, of course, can Ben blow out Bobby in the final week and get some help from Josh? Yes.
Yes.
But it's unlikely. And like I just said, he doesn't control his own destiny. Simply winning here probably isn't going to be enough.
Right.
He needs to gain 7.5 games in the final week. That's a lot. That's a
It's a
lot
lot.
to ask for. Close categories this week. Costas wins by 3 runs, a home run, 2 2/3 innings, 2 losses, 2 walks by a pitcher, and a very minuscule amount on the whip. It's a .0021 on the whip.
Yeah.
They tied in triples and errors. For Costas on his bench this week, he goes 9 for 40. That's a 225 batting average with 4 runs, 4 doubles, 3 RBIs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, and an error, and not a single bit of it plays. He benched Fott for 2 starts. So if he
And both
does that and he
yeah.
loses whip and walks,
Yeah. So, and like he benched the first one in the week against the Mets, and then he benched Sundays against the Dodgers, and both of them were okay, but that would have he would have walked many guys, and he would have lost whip and walks.
yeah, smart play there from Costas. He used 9 ads this week. He drops Joey Ortiz and Nick Mears for Zach McKinstry, who goes 1 for 2. David Peralta, 1 for 4 with a double. And Sean Reynolds for a clean relief appearance. He dropped Jacob Stallings for Ryan O'Hearn, 1 for 3 with a double and an RBI. He drops Fernando Cruz for Bradley Blaylock of the Colorado Rockies against Miami at home.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Miami, but it's at home.
Mm-hmm.
He was terrible.
It's a coin toss.
He was terrible. 4 innings, a loss, a homer, a walk, 3 strikeouts, a 13.50 and a 2.50. He dropped David Peralta for Michael Massey, 1 for 4. He dropped Michael Massey for Scott Barlow, who never came in. Dropped Ryan O'Hearn for Nick Sandlin, who was bad in his relief appearance, but didn't give up a run. He has a 450 whip, though, which is not good.
No.
And dropped Bradley Blaylock. He dropped Davison De Los Santos for Hunter Strickland, who did not appear. His MVP this week is going to be Matt Olson, but also got great weeks from who is this?
From O'Neill Cruz, Zach McKinstry was good. Josh Lowe was good. I mean, we talked about his hitting. His hitting was just like on fire this week.
Yeah,
and it showed. But Matt Olson, 9 runs and 11 RBIs is that's pretty hard to contend with.
Jesse Winker went like 8 for 11 for him or some
Yeah,
ridiculous
Winker
shit here.
he only played a couple of games, but like when he played, he was amazing.
Yeah. He has an 857 batting average and on base percentage. 857. That's got to be like 8 for 11. The MVP is Matt Olson, though. 367 with a 387, 9 runs, 5 doubles, 3 homers, 11 RBIs, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. He was shopping this dude at the deadline like he was like Matt Olson owed him money.
Yeah, and I traded him to Casas originally, and look, the 234 average is not what you want.
No.
25 homers and 77 RBIs isn't terrible, except that when you consider the fact that he hit 52 last year or whatever it was, it's a big drop off. So you're chasing what happened in 2023, and you're not getting it.
Yeah. And I find it interesting. Where did he go in the draft? Second round, 17th overall. Where does he go next year?
I hope, like to the bathroom. I don't know. I never liked him. I took him because I felt like I had to, because at that point in the draft, like it was him or like nobody else made sense. But I knew that I didn't want him, and I knew that I wasn't going to hang on to him because I knew that it wasn't going to be what we saw last year from him. Too many strikeouts and too low of a batting average. I don't know. Maybe 3rd round.
Yeah, him or Pete Alonso next year.
Probably depends on where Pete lands, but I would probably
assume he's back. Assume he's back with the Mets.
I would take Pete.
Okay.
Because I feel like even if the average is still kind of poo poo, I feel like he's a better lock for 30 or 40 homers than Olson is.
Okay. We're going to talk a whole lot about that this offseason. It's going to be so much fun. All right. Jose Caballero is the least valuable hitter this week. 160 with a 160, 4 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, 7 strikeouts, and an error. The Cy Young, hey, Seth Lugo finally showed up for him. 7 innings, a homer, a walk, 9 strikeouts, a 1.29, and a 1. The Cy Yuck is Bradley Blaylock, but like he got some bad starts from Kyle Harrison. He got bad relief appearances from whatever the hell G. Holman is and Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah. Tyler Anderson wasn't particularly good either. Yeah, no, it was a bad pitching week all around.
Mhm.
Everybody, kind of helped shit the bed for him.
Yeah. And somehow he still wins ERA and WHIP because our friend Benjamin had himself a worse week. It was
Yeah.
bad week.
Yeah.
On the bench, he goes 8 for 34. That's a 235 batting average. 3 runs, he would have had to be perfect. A double, a home run, 3 RBIs, a steal, 6 walks, 6 strikeouts, and an error. Good job keeping that error out of your lineup. You end up tying that category. But the home run, where does the home run play?
It's on Wednesday, it's Jorge Soler on the bench, and Ryan McMahon went 0 for 5.
Ryan McMahon was at home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
Soler hadn't had a hit in I don't know how long.
No,
So
it made sense. It's
yeah.
that's where it was.
He also benched a couple of good starts, one from Flaherty against Baltimore and then Bueller against Baltimore. That's interesting because I don't think you want to play Baltimore, but here we are with 2 Dodger starters having decent starts. One took a loss, but
Yeah, I don't think
he
Bueller
lost
was
that
any.
category anyway.
Yeah, and I don't think Bueller's was really great anyway. He's been kind of shitty since all season. Really,
Hmm.
he's been kind of yucky.
And
But
he's coming back from injury to start the year, so
yeah,
it was risky to have him as my 2-ish starter to start the season, and I
yeah,
end up getting Josh Hader out of it for him, so I'm happy.
I'm sure.
Ben used all 10 ads this week. He dropped Luis Campusano for Yasmani Grandal, 1 for 3, a double, a run, a walk, and a strikeout. He dropped Spencer Horwitz for Ryan McMahon, who went 2 for 4 with a homer and an RBI that day. So, yeah, it makes
Yeah,
sense to play that guy over Jorge Soler. Ben's doing all he can do when he's adding dudes into the lineup. The rest of the lineup just isn't hitting.
yeah, that's it.
He drops Nick Sandlin for Phil Maton, clean relief appearance. Dropped Yasmani Grandal for Bryce Wilson, who was great, but he had to wait all the way until Sunday for the relief appearance.
And the loss, he took the loss
Oh
in
Christ!
in extra innings, and yeah, picked him up on Tuesday and didn't get into a game until Sunday and took the loss.
Thanks. That's so
Yeah,
helpful.
yeah,
So helpful. He drops Garrett Clevenger for Orlando Arcia, 1 for 3 with a double, an RBI, and a walk, and drops Trent Thornton for Cedric Mullins, 0 for 2 with a run, a steal, and a walk. Again, Ben's doing all he can to get these dudes in the lineup. His offensive pieces are hitting when he's plugging them in. He drops Orlando Arcia, who had a solo home run that day, for Ryan Stanek for a clean relief appearance, and dropped Jorge Soler for Caleb Ferguson, who never showed up.
yep.
He dropped Ryan McMahon for Randy Vasquez, who was atrocious again in Tampa. 4 1/3, a loss, a bomb, 4 walks, an 1869, and a 346. Good God.
Yeah, and the day before that, it was a flip side. It was Taj Bradley was terrible for the Rays against the Padres, and so you're thinking, okay, yeah, because I was thinking about making the same move. I even did it in a different league. I picked up Randy Vasquez because I'm like, okay, the Rays aren't scoring runs, they're in trouble. Padres are rolling. Let's do it. And yeah,
Mhm.
he was absolutely terrible.
He finishes out the week dropping Randy Vasquez for Yariel Rodriguez, who only went 3 innings in a start against Minnesota, but he didn't give up a run, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. The MVP this week goes to, I guess it's Luis Arraez, 423 with a 483. 3 runs, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, a steal, and 3 walks, and not a single strikeout. With a shout out to Mauricio Dubon, who had a nice week, Brandon Nimmo, who actually showed up a little bit for him, and Randall Grichuk, who had 2 homers and 6 RBIs with a 556 batting average. The least valuable hitter, surprisingly enough, is Juan Soto, 154 with a 185, a run, 2 doubles, an RBI, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. And if that guy's not going to hit, this team's
That's
going nowhere.
exactly. I mean, you're kind of living and dying by Juan Soto, which makes sense because it's Juan Soto. But if he happens to have a bad week in the end of August, when you need him to have a really great week, there's nothing really you can do about it.
Yeah. CJ Abrams also was pretty bad in his appearances this week. 091 with an 091 and 2 strikeouts. He kind of got replaced by Mauricio Dubon at shortstop this week. So
Yeah. Yep.
the Cy Young goes to Charlie Sheen, Carlos Estevez, 4 innings, a win, a save, 4 strikeouts, nothing earned, and 025 across 3 relief appearances. Pretty nice there. But the Cy Young goes to Randy Vasquez or Kershaw's toe or Carlos Rodon wasn't good. Yeah, but it's got
Nard
to
was
be Randy
terrible.
Vasquez. Got to be Randy Vasquez.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely Randy Vasquez, but we talked about how neither of these guys, Casas or Ben, pitched well this week, and there's a lot of candidates here for Garrett Clevenger had a bad relief appearance.
Mm-hmm.
David Bednar lost a closer job. So it's bad.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate that like Ben had such a good first half. It's all sort of crumbling around him, and he doesn't have a way to like. What's he supposed to do? Will Smith has what 5-6 homers on the season.
He has on the season he has 17,
Oh,
but it feels like 6. You're right.
yeah.
It feels like 6.
Yeah, I mean,
It,
and what's he hitting?
it,
Like 230?
245
Yeah.
with 66 RBIs. Like you're hitting the middle of one of the most dangerous lineups in baseball. You have 66 RBIs.
Yeah, you were expecting 20 to 25 home runs, 100 RBIs. You know, that's what you're
That-
getting from Teoscar Hernandez. You're not getting that from Will Smith,
right,
unfortunately.
right.
Like
And
it
we
was the
talk about
wrong guy to go with.
yeah, Nolan Arenado has 15 home runs and 63
Mm-hmm.
RBIs. Like, we talked about Brandon
Brandon
Nimmo's
Nimmo.
yeah, his collapse over the second half. Like CJ Abrams, yeah, it's everywhere.
All these guys have teens in the home runs and are hitting 230 to 250 maybe on the season.
Yeah.
And Soto is being Soto. I mean, he's having a great year. He leads the league in walks yet again.
He scored 109 runs.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do, but that's the only piece that's really working here.
Right. And
Arise is doing what he's supposed to do, but what's he hitting on the season? 309? I mean, yes, it's great,
but it's not enough.
but it's not enough. It's
And
not enough.
that's just it. Is you can't, as great as Soto is and as good plus that are as Arias is, you can't win a championship with just those two alone.
Right. Right. The pieces around him around them were supposed to do their jobs, and they're just not this year. And it sucks. It really does.
And
Charlie Blackmon is having a decent year, 248, 9 homers and 50 runs scored, but like he's doing what he's supposed to. Carlos Santana is having a nice year for himself, 237, but he has almost identical numbers to dudes who were taken well before him.
yeah. Right. I mean,
he has better numbers than Nimmo.
I didn't see 18 home runs from Carlos Santana coming,
No.
at age 37 or 38, whatever he is. Like,
he's got more homers than Arenado. More RBIs than Arenado. Like, come on now.
That doesn't make sense.
It does not make sense.
And the pitching just really never came together for him. He tried to with Buehler and bringing in Rodon, but it was just a little bit too late with those guys. It just never really happened for him.
And they've been ineffective. Buehler and Rodon have just flat out been ineffective.
Kershaw
Buehler
too.
has Kershaw too. Those were 2 trade pieces. No, a waiver claim, a free agent pickup, and a trade piece.
Yeah.
It was Kershaw, Buehler, and Rodon. Nestor Cortez he traded for.
David Bednar he traded for.
Yeah. Jack Flaherty he picked up in free agency. Like he's got He's got horses. He's got names that you recognize.
Yeah.
They're just ineffective this year.
Taiwan Walker, was horrible this year.
Mm-hmm.
Counting on that guy, that didn't work out. So yeah, it was tough year.
I think we give all the credit in the world to Costas here for putting the nail in the coffin here and kind of squashing the bug on Ben this year. Unfortunately, like it really is unfortunate. But I think if Ben were on the show, he would say he'd rather be out now than out in week 22.
Yeah.
He'd rather be in this position than 2 games out with 1 to play.
Right, and have a real sense of disappointment after that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can understand that.
Let's move on to the next matchup here. We're going to talk about Frank Bucco, who took on our number 1 team in the league, Mike Haber. Gave him a pretty damn good fight, if I do say so myself. Takes down a 10-7 loss to Mike Haber this week. Going into Sunday, it was 11-7, and Frank tied RBIs, so he gets the 10-7 loss. Close categories this week. Mike wins by 6 ticks on the whip, and 3 relief appearances. Frank wins by 3 home runs by a hitter, 3 strikeouts by a hitter, and a win. They tied in triples, RBIs, stolen bases, and errors. Wow.
Yeah. Quite a
I guess
matchup.
that's how you get 10-7. You get a lot of ties. For Mike on his bench this week, he goes 10 for 38. That's a 263 batting average with 7 runs. He'd have to be perfect to get all of those in. 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 13 RBIs, 4 walks, and 9 strikeouts. Obviously, the 13 RBIs play when you tie that category. What happened?
So Sunday he benched. I think it was Sunday he benched like a few guys. I don't know if they were cherry picked. Like he didn't start Castellanos or Ozuna for the Sunday night game.
Mm-hmm.
And Castellanos had 3 RBIs right there.
There you go. Yeah,
So,
that's maybe he was cherry picking, trying to stay away from an error.
I guess. I don't know what else because strikeouts weren't.
He was already losing strikeouts.
You're already losing strikeouts, right? So I don't. Yeah, I don't know. There was also he had like a couple of 3 RBI games on Friday and Saturday on the bench. So there was a lot.
There was a lot. I mean, 13 RBIs is a lot in a week. It's not kind of surprising to see Mike benching this much of a counting stat line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
He used 8 ads this week. He dropped Sean Murphy for Junior Caminero off of waivers, 0-3 with 2 strikeouts. He dropped Shea Langoliers for Ryan Jeffers, 1-5 with a double. He adds Anthony Rizzo in his return to the IL, but he is on the bench for a 2-4, 2-run double RBI and strikeout game. He drops David Hamilton for Spencer Horowitz, 0-4. Excuse me. Drops Spencer Horowitz for Dennis Santana for a clean relief appearance. Drops Rhys Hoskins for Jose Ruiz on a bluff. Drops Jose Ruiz for Adrian Morejon after the bell. And adds Victor Vodnik, the Russian spy, to the IL.
Yes. Victor Vodnik is now on Mike Haber's team. And, he was looking pretty good for me. I had him for a while. He was the Rockies closer, whatever that means. But he was actually nabbing saves. And then all of a sudden he showed up with this shoulder injury. And now he's like ramping up and he could be back like this week all of a sudden. So now he's on Mike's team.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You know what else is awesome? Mike getting his MVP being not Aaron Judge, but Lawrence Butler.
Yeah. Lawrence Butler, who Josh had, and then I had, and now Mike has, and he's finally back to going off again. Look at this line.
500 with a 517 on base percentage, 8 runs, 3 doubles, 6 bombs, 10 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, a walk, and a strikeout. Holy shit.
Yeah.
The A's have some pieces. They're not atrocious.
No, they're here.
They're here. Aaron Judge is the least valuable hitter, 190 with a 370 on base, a run, a double, an RBI, a stolen base, 6 walks, and 10 strikeouts, with 10 strikeouts from Jhonkensy Noel, who did hit a home run and hit 200.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like Judge was kind of, again, you walk Judge and deal with whoever's after him.
you have to. You have to at this point because there hasn't been anybody in the cleanup spot that's hit all season for the Yankees. So
No, I mean,
yeah.
okay, Stanton's back, Rizzo's back, they got Jazz, but even still, like, I'd take my chances with either of those guys and not have to face Judge.
Absolutely, I would take my chances with those guys all day.
Yeah.
The Cy Young goes to Nate Eovaldi. 7 innings, a win, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts, nothing earned in a 0.43. The Cy Yuck here goes to Lucas Erceg, a 15.43 ERA and a 3 WHIP across 3 relief appearances, 2 losses and a save. Chad Green had a loss and a save and a 13.50. It was not.
He got
Listen, that's it though.
Chad Green got blown up on Sunday. He took the loss. But yeah, it was the bullpen has been Mike's strong suit all season, and this week he kind of took some chinks.
26 relief appearances. He had a 2.76 ERA and 0.98 WHIP. Frank with a 2.82 and a 1.04. That will win you most weeks, but not this week against Mike Haber. It was a masterclass in pitching. These two relievers aside, for Frank on his bench this week, he goes 6 for 44. He has a bench.
He has a bench, and he did it well.
And he did it
kind
really
of.
well. 136 batting average, 5 runs, a triple, an RBI, a stolen base, 6 walks, and 14 strikeouts. Good job keeping the 14 strikeouts out. You won that category by 3. And good job going 6 for 44. The triple, where is that at?
The triple, the RBI, and the steal all come from Jackson Holliday on Friday here at Coors Field. I was at the game, and I watched Jackson Holliday scorch a liner over the right field, right where Matt Holliday hit his triple in 2007. And he also stole a base in the game. That was it. That you needed Jackson Holliday in the lineup on Friday.
That's it. And he's playing him over Marcus Semien or Jackson Merrill. Like, that's the question here because he's not taking Ohtani out of the lineup. Forget utility.
He had, yeah.
It's either Semien or Jackson Merrill that he's taking out of the lineup to play Jackson Holliday.
Yeah. I mean, you could put Jackson Merrill in center field, take Michael Harris out, I guess.
But that's his guy. Like,
right.
that, Michael Harris is his guy.
Right. So it's a real conundrum, and that he had Holliday on the bench for most of the week, and Holliday has been kind of struggling, but that was the game.
That really, really sucks. And this is why I was kind of disappointed that Frank was not involved in the trade discussions at the deadline, because he might have been able to move some things around and get himself a bit more versatile, shall we say.
Yep.
Only 4 ads this week from Frank. He drops Bo Brisky for Keegan Aiken, who got him a clean relief appearance. Eli Morgan for Garrett Crochet, who threw 4 pitches. The game was suspended, and then the Mets came in, and we won that game.
Yes, but he struck out the first 7 Mets, and I'm sitting there going, "What is happening here?" But he doesn't pitch more than 4 innings, so it doesn't really matter.
Right. You're not going to get the win. He's going to be babied all the way to the end here.
Yeah.
He drops Ian Anderson for Sam Mole, who was bad in his relief appearance. 1 out, but 2 walks. He dropped Justin Turner, Will Vest, and Jonah Heim for Andrew Vaughn over 4 because the White Sox suck. And he has to pick up Andrew Vaughn here because he just lost Vinny Pasquantino to a broken thumb, who's done for the year.
Yep. But I mean, Andrew Vaughn hasn't had a hit, I think, since like the middle of August. Like, it's been a while since Andrew Vaughn's had a hit.
Ugh.
He's 0 for a lot.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes. Well, maybe he goes with Ryan O'Hearn now. It appears that he's got that guy locked in.
Yeah.
The MVP this week goes to Brendan Donovan, 345 with a 367, 6 runs, 2 doubles, a triple, a homer, 5 RBIs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Shohei Ohtani, very nice line here, 3 homers, 4 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases, but he had 9 strikeouts, hit 269 with a 286 on base.
Yeah, not great, not great. And you talked about the versatility. That's what that's your trade off with having a guy like Shohei, right? He's all world talent, but from a fantasy perspective, he kind of clogs up your utility spot. So you're not going to take him out of the lineup. So you're only left with 9 spots to put everybody else in.
Yeah. I was thinking about this today. Frank could have the NL MVP in Shohei Ohtani and the NL Rookie of the Year in Jackson Merrill on his team this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
His least valuable hitter was his second overall pick in Marcus Semien, 059 with a 200 on base, a double, an RBI, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. This guy just hasn't gotten it done for him this year. He's pretty disappointed in him. 236 average, 18 homers, 64 RBIs. Does have 82 runs scored, so you think he's going to get close to that number. And he plays every day, which is the one thing that you draft this dude for. He just hasn't been himself this year.
Yeah. I mean, he has the same amount of home runs as Carlos Santana.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has more RBIs, but that's about it.
Yeah, because he's hitting on top of the Rangers lineup. So, sure. And he's going to score more runs, drive in more runs. But he's having, I mean, for, like you said, second round pick, that's not what you bought.
No way. No way. The Cy Young this week goes to Jose Barrios, 13 2/3, 2 wins, a bomb, a walk, 11 strikeouts, a 132 and an 088. The Cy Young goes to Simeon Woods Richardson, 4 2/3, a bomb, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, a 7.71 and a 129. Again, he pitched to a 2.82 ERA and a 1.04 WHIP and lost.
Yeah. That's hard to do.
Yeah. And that's kind of been a lot of Frank's season. He really changed things up so early in the season that he was sort of, I don't want to use the word stuck, but he sort of settled on the team that he was going to have for the season very early in the season this year. And he's been piecing together this rotation pretty much all year.
Yeah. With trying with Garrett Crochet and with Woods Richardson, and now Casey Mize is here, and
I mean, Houck was a trade piece, Barrios was a trade piece, Ronaldo Lopez was a trade piece, Charlie Morton was a dude that he drafted.
Yeah, that was it.
That's it.
Now
he's got Casey Mize and he's got Woods Richardson, and it's been pieced together. It was certainly very good this week. I just think that this was the side of the ball this year that Frank neglected more, and that might be the reason for him not making the playoffs this year.
Yeah, because I mean, from the offensive side, once you have Shohei, as long as he's doing Shohei things, you should be in a pretty good spot offensively, even if everybody else is kind of just humming along. But also, like you said, he had Jackson Merrill, who's Rookie of the Year favorite. Losing Vinny Pasquantino, that sucks. That absolutely sucks. He did get Michael Harris back, recently, so that's good. But yeah, and the Marcus Semien. We're talking about Marcus Semien being just absolutely atrocious for a second round pick. Is that's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah. If Semien is Semien and has 100 RBIs and 100 runs scored and 30 homers, this is a completely different team.
Absolutely. You pair that with Shohei, absolutely.
Yeah. He just didn't have another big bat to pair with Shohei for any sustainable period of time. And the pitching was a little bit lackluster.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next matchup here. It is Josh Haber, who took on Brian Lebo this week. And Josh gets himself a 12-7 win. On Sunday, it was 11-7 going in. It ends up 12-7. What am I looking at here? There we go. Josh flipped innings pitched and took wins and saves as he coasts into a bye here. That's the headline.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he did what he needed to do, and he even texted me saying, "Okay, I can coast now."
Yeah, he's in. Those are our bye teams. Like there is a mathematical way that it can happen, but it would have to be two really ridiculous blowouts in order for me to get a bye. So the Habers are the bye teams this year. We can officially say that.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that the Habers have monopolized the bye spots this year.
Yes. And it's fitting because these are the two finalists from last year having the next year's two best teams running off and hiding with the buys. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
100%.
For Josh on his bench this week, he goes 10 for 28. That's a 357 batting average. 5 runs. He would have had to be perfect. 3 doubles, a homer, 5 RBIs, a steal, 7 walks, and 5 strikeouts. I just realized that I didn't do close categories, so that would explain why I'm like, why am I looking at bolded stuff that I haven't talked about yet? Close categories. Josh wins by 2 home runs by a hitter, 2 errors, an inning and a third, a win, a save, 2 home runs by a pitcher, and a walk by a pitcher. Brian wins by a triple, 3 stolen bases, and 2 strikeouts by a hitter. So Josh having 5 strikeouts in his lineup. Good job. Way to get that out of the lineup. You almost won that category.
But Josh kept he had 7 walks on the bench, and that category was tied, and he only pick one, and that would have given you that stat. But again, when you win 12-7 and you kind of sail into the playoffs, doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we're splitting hairs here, and we're taking the piss out of this for a minute, but yeah. 10 ads this week for Josh. He drops Julian Merriweather, Brian Salmons, and Martin Perez. He adds Jacob Young, 2 for 3 with a run, 2 doubles, a homer, an RBI, and an error, and Tim Hill for a clean relief appearance. He drops Jacob Young for Jose Trevino, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. He drops Trevino and Tyler Alexander, who was a waste, but a good waste.
Yeah, because he was absolutely terrible. I can pull up the stats, but he was absolutely terrible. But keep going.
He adds Zebby Matthews, who was, oh my God, he was so bad against Toronto. A loss in 2 innings, 3 homers, a 40, 50, and a 5. Good God. Oh, and he
Yeah.
added Rhett Lauder, who was okay, I guess, against Milwaukee. 4
But
innings, a loss, 4 walks. Yeah.
Yeah, but he dropped Tyler Alexander for that guy, and Alexander was a whole lot worse. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Josh still pitched to a +5 ERA, but if you have Tyler Alexander in that lineup too, it would have been like 6.
So much worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
He drops Andrew Heaney for Cater Montero. 5 innings, a loss, a homer, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, a 540 and a 160 against the Angels. He drops Cater Montero and Rhett Lauder for Reed Detmers, who's in the NA, and Justin Robleski, who was a bluff. He drops Zebby Matthews and Robleski, who was a god-awful starter against who was that against? Was that
That was against
Baltimore
Arizona.
again?
That was on Sunday, and he was
Yes.
terrible also. So, all these Josh Bluff waste pitchers were good bluff waste pitchers.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, even if he didn't win ERA or WHIP. The only thing I wonder is he lost strikeouts by 6.
yeah.
But there again, he won walks by 1, he won homers by 2. Like, no need to get crazy.
And he tied losses. So you throw, Tyler. So here's Tyler Alexander, 4 and a third, a loss, 3 homers, a walk, 4 strikeouts, a 1038 and a 138 as a bulk reliever. Like, he was awful.
Yeah.
So, so you're talking about a loss from Robleski or a loss from Tyler Alexander. Again,
It wouldn't have ruined his season, but it would have ruined this week.
Right. It's splitting hairs. It's nitpicking, but it is what
Yeah.
it is.
He did finish out the week picking up Jordan Wicks, who had a nice start in Washington. His
Yeah.
MVP this week
No
is
walks, no walks or strikeouts for Jordan Wicks, which I thought was kind of interesting. A 5-inning start against Washington, no walks, no strikeouts.
okay.
Yeah.
Pitch to contact, young man. Good job. Good
Yeah,
job.
against the Nationals.
The MVP this week is Jarren Duran. 393 with a 414 on base, 6 runs, 4 doubles, 3 homers, 5 RBIs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. This is one of the reasons this guy is in the playoffs as incredibly high as he is. He got him in the 12th round.
Yeah. I feel like he just doesn't stop hitting. Like
No.
over the last 2 months, he's just been on fire. And yeah, I mean, it's a good time for him to be that.
21 homers, 96 runs scored, 32 stolen bases, and a close to 300 average. Mike Haber said he was a first round pick. I don't know about that, but these numbers certainly say that he could be.
Yeah, I think if he does it again, he's absolutely a first round pick. But I think we might be looking maybe more at like a 5th round, 4th round, somewhere around there, maybe.
I'll ask you this question: him or Corbin Carroll next year?
Oof. That's a good one.
Right?
Yeah, probably Duran. I think at this point. I mean, but it's a very good comp because it does seem like he is last year's Corbin Carroll, right?
Yes.
But I think the power is a little bit more real for Duran. And I probably go with Duran, but that's a great comp.
I thought so. The least valuable hitter this week is Adolis Garcia. 240 with a 240, 3 doubles, 3 RBIs, 10 strikeouts. Ian Happ also had 10 strikeouts, but he hit 385. And not Yandy Diaz, Matt Chapman hit 167.
Yeah, he didn't play him a whole lot, so
Okay.
he was better than that.
Mhm.
He just didn't play when he was good.
Gotcha. The Cy Young this week goes to Logan Gilbert, 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, nothing earned in an 067. The Cy Young goes to Zebby Matthews with his 40-50. Good God. How do you play a dude named Zebby? And
why not? Look, if you're if you're set in the playoffs in the bye, play a guy named Zebby, see what happens.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
For Lebo on his bench this week, he goes 6 for 21. That's a 286 batting average, 2 runs, 3 RBIs, a steal, 5 strikeouts. That's the 5 strikeouts that we clap for. Congratulations for getting it out of your lineup, Brian, because you would have lost that category otherwise. However,
he did bench 2 starts from Aaron Savali and whoever this bozo clown is. And Savali was really good. Having those 2 guys, he would have gotten innings and wins.
How dare you call him a bozo clown when he fucking owned us in Citi Field, Valente Peloso?
I don't know that he owned us. He pitched well.
Yeah, he did pitch well. No, he owned. Who did he own? The Phillies in Philadelphia.
Yes, he owned the Phillies.
Yeah, I know he had one really good start. Yeah. Brian used all 10 ads this week. He dropped Adam Ottavino, Joey Estes, Jose Alvarado, and Freddie Fermin for Colin Poche, clean relief appearance. Tim Meza for a clean relief appearance, and Gabe Spire, who never got into the game because he got optioned to AAA. He dropped Michael Lorenzen for Garrett Stubbs, 0 for 3 with a strikeout, and the aforementioned Aaron Savale, who 7 innings, a win, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, nothing earned in an 057 whip on the bench.
Yep.
He dropped Garrett Stubbs for John Gray, who he did start against Oakland, 4 2/3, a loss, 2 homers, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, a 7.71 and a 107. Oh, if only you did it the other way around.
Right. I mean, that could change a lot of things.
Yeah. He drops John Gray, Colin Poche, and Gabe Spire for Alex Cobb. In his return to the IL, he had a no-hitter or perfect game going for a while.
Yeah.
6 innings, a win, 6 strikeouts, nothing earned in an 033. David Peralta 0 for 4. Tyler O'Neill 1 for 3 with a solo bomb, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. And Davis Martin, curse you for streaming a dude against our Mets. 5 innings, a loss, 2 homers, a walk, 6 strikeouts, a 720, and a 120.
I think this is the second or third week in a row that Lebo has done that. That he streamed a guy at the end of the week against the Mets.
We're a good offense, goddammit.
We're gonna prove it.
we're gonna get the wild card. And then on Sunday, he drops out Davis Martin, Tyler O'Neill, and David Peralta. His MVP this week is going to be Jazz and Win. So Jazz Chisholm was good. 429 with a 478 on base, 7 runs, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 2 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, and 3 errors.
Yeah.
They're playing Jazz at third. That's not fair.
Yeah. But that's he kind of ruined it with the 3 errors. But Mason Wynn picked it up. He committed an error too. I mean, Lebo committed 6 errors, so it wasn't
and 3 of them were from Jazz.
Yeah. But the rest of it is money.
Yeah. The least valuable hitter goes to JT Realmuto. 217 with a 217, 2 runs, 2 doubles, a homer, an RBI, and 7 strikeouts. The Cy Young this week goes to Spencer Spaghetti Arrighetti. 7 2/3, a win, 4 walks, 11 strikeouts, nothing earned in an 0.78. Who'd that start come against? Toronto?
That was
Philly.
In Philly.
All right.
Yeah.
Go guys who beat Philly. Except for the Braves.
Yeah, but so you start him against Philly, but you don't start Savali against the Giants.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Yeah. He just chose not to start Aaron Savali on that one, and it really is the difference. Innings and what wins?
Wins.
Yeah. The Cy Young goes to John Gray, 4 2/3, a 7.71 and 107. He wasn't very good in Oakland.
Nope.
Congratulations to Josh. I really do think that everybody should be rooting for him, if not rooting for yourself. Josh is a guy who was in the bottom of the barrel for years and, was asked to take a year off, and he did, and he's come back, and he's been outstanding. He's been outstanding, a finalist last year. He's going to get a bye this year. He's going to be in the semis for the second straight year. I hope to face him and get my loss back from last year, but we shall see.
Yeah, and I know he's worked so hard, while also having another kid and and everything else going on, how hard he's worked to get here. Absolute kudos to him and glad to see it.
Yeah. And as for Lebo, it's another great year from him. We appreciate the competitiveness that he's been there with throughout the year. Let's see if he can sneak into the consolation bracket and make some noise there this year.
Yeah, come on, Lebo.
Because that last spot in the consolation bracket is a hotly contested 12 spot this year. It's really fun to watch.
It's really tight between him and Frank. So I'm curious to see who's going to get in.
No doubt. All right, Jason, it's time to talk about the first time you've beaten me since 2017.
Well, it only took 7 years, but we did it. And barely. But it was 7 years in the making.
7 years in the making. The last time he won 12-7 back in 2017, and since then I ripped off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in a row.
And most of them were
yeah. I mean, 18-1 in 2022, 17-4 in 2023, 14-4 earlier this year, 13-4 in 2021. So, yes, good job, Jason. I'm proud of you. I beat you
9-7, barely.
9-7. 9-7 is the final. Going into Sunday, it was 10-7. And to be honest, there was a point where this week was I was seeing a pretty big blowout.
It was all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
We were both all over the place. Like there were points where I thought, you were gonna dump truck me again, and it just kind of kept going back and forth. I felt like.
Yeah, yeah. So on Sunday, I took walks by a hitter and tied walks by a pitcher and whip. We tied in whip. We tied in whip with 10 innings difference.
Yeah, yeah. No, like 0.002194 different. Like exact. I don't think
Exactly
I've ever seen that.
tied. Yeah. But Jason tied in home runs by a hitter and saves. Got the save.
Yeah,
Got the save to take the win. I got 4 saves this week with just Josh Hader, and still can't get the W. All
yeah.
right.
Because Jose Buto gets saves now.
He does. Jose Buto gets you a save. Close categories this week. You win by a win, a save, and 4 strikeouts. I win by 3 doubles, a walk by a hitter, 2 losses, 3 home runs by a pitcher, and 7 ticks on the ERA. We tied in triples, home runs by a hitter, errors, walks by a pitcher, and whip.
Yeah,
5 ties.
because of fucking Bryce Harper.
Yep.
Took that walk
Bryce
Sunday
Harper.
night. And that was it.
Mm-hmm. I'll take it. For you on your bench this week, sir, you went 9 for 35. That is a 257 batting average, 6 runs, a double, a homer, 5 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, 5 walks, 9 strikeouts, and an error. The 5 walks would have been helpful. The homer would have untied the category. What'd you see this week?
Yeah, it was the homer was on Tuesday. I started Otto Lopez instead of Ramon Urias, and honestly, I'm kind of glad now that Ramon Urias is on the IL and I could drop him because he was hard to own. It's like you never know when to start that guy because he could be a homer or he could be strikeouts and an error. And I seem to start him when he strikes out and makes errors, and I bench him when he hits home runs. So I'm kind of glad to have that guy off my team.
Good. Well, at least that guy's off the roster now.
Yeah.
All right. You dropped you used all 10 ads this week. You dropped Tyler O'Neill and Dean Kramer for guys coming off of the IL or NA spot. You dropped Gregory Soto for Andrew Chafin, who was bad in his relief appearance, and Tyler McGill, who you benched in fear of the Chicago White Sox.
In fear of the Mets, because I had this thing in my head where yes, it's the White Sox, but the Mets can find a way to lose against the White Sox. I know they can, and I was like, you know what? I'd rather bench McGill, have them win the game, and feel good about that than start him and like something go haywire. And so it's fine.
Okay. You dropped Otto Lopez for Kenta Maeda, you bastard. 4 1/3, a win, a homer, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, nothing earned, a 138 against the Angels. I do it last week. I get some sort of 10 and change ERA. This week, you get the good start or the good relief appearance.
Yep.
You dropped Maeda for Ryan Yarbrough, which was a waste. You dropped Andrew Chafin for Jesus Sanchez, over 5 with a steal, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. You're shaking
Henry
your head about
Collins-
Yarbrough.
Well, so Jesus Sanchez, Henry Collins also called me a bastard for grabbing him. It was a game in Colorado, and I'm like, okay, let me get a home run from Jesus Sanchez. No, he goes 0 for 5. He steals a base, cool, but like he hit a homer the day before, and I'm like, okay, let me see if he can get 2 home runs in a row in Coors Field. Of course not.
And I know I streamed him either last year or the year before when they were in Colorado, and he hit one to the bar at the very top of the stadium.
Yep, our rooftop bar. Yep.
Yeah.
And Yarbrough, he pitches last Saturday. He pitched 5 innings, I think it was, and got a win. Like it was a really great relief outing. So, but that was Saturday. I picked him up on Thursday, and the guy doesn't pitch again. They don't throw him. He doesn't pitch. And so I lost patience. I dropped him later on. He finally gets in the game on Sunday, and only throws 2 1/3. So I'm like, I don't know how to use this guy.
Yeah. He is a frustrating guy to own because at least the Dodgers were using him every 5th day. Like the Blue Jays aren't doing that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You added Zach Littell to the IL. You dropped Joey Loperfido for Garrett Mitchell, 0 for 3 with an RBI, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Dropped Shelby Miller for Mason Black, who was good in his start against Miami, but took the loss. And dropped Max Scherzer. You added Max Scherzer. I added Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer's not going to pitch.
We've all added Max Scherzer. He's done.
He's done. And finally, you dropped Ramon Urias for Kobe Mayo, 1 for 2 with a run and a strikeout, and dropped Ryan Yarborough the day he pitched for Cade Povich for this week. The MVP this week, yeah, it's fucking Pete Crow Armstrong, and I'm mad about it. I'm really mad about it. It's 458 with a 500 on base percentage, 9 runs, a double, 6 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, and it felt like more. It really felt like more. He had a 4 for 4 day and then like another 3 for 4 day, and it was nuts.
Yeah. And, I picked him up, gosh, it's been a while now. When did I picked him up on August 3rd, and it was just like, there was no thought of him being like my everyday center fielder. Like it was just for like I streamed him. I thought I was going to stream him, and he went off the day that I picked him up, and I was like, okay, let's see what he can do. And then all of a sudden he starts playing every day for the Cubs. I'm like, okay, he's my center fielder now.
Yeah. I look back on that trade for Javi Baez, and I'm like, we wouldn't have Harrison Bader on our team if this kid was playing center field for us.
Yeah, we'd have this.
Yeah, disappointing. The least valuable hitter, it's Dylan Cruz, 190 with a 227, but he hit 2 bombs, 3 RBIs, a double, 2 runs scored. He's the other half of this outfield that with James Wood that is going to make the Nationals good again, apparently.
Yeah, and they have some pitchers coming too, so they're about to get real again.
They're going to get interesting here next year. I don't know that they're going to get real good here real quick, but I think next year they could fight for 500.
Yeah, and I think they could easily beat the Marlins.
Yeah, they're doing that this year, aren't they?
Are they? I don't even know.
I think so.
Oh, maybe they are. But
I think they're 4th in the division.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
The Cy Young goes to Cody Bradford. 7 innings, a homer, 8 strikeouts, a 2.57 and an 0.57. The Cy Young goes to Jared Jones. Was he bad? He was very bad. 4 innings, a loss, 2 homers, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, 11.25 and a 2. I remember you were having a bad day and I was having a bad day that day.
Yeah, and I was really looking forward to Jared Jones. He's been on the IL for a while. He was doing really good before he got hurt, so I was excited for him to come back. And yeah, that was a disappointment. Also, George Kirby somehow gave up 3 home runs, only struck out 2 batters, had a 7.94 ERA, but still got a win.
All right.
That's why wins are such a weird category, because you can pitch like shit and still get a win.
Yeah, if your team blows out the other side, you can pitch like garbage. Yeah, as long as you get 5 innings. You stole 10 bags on me, dude.
Yeah, 9 of them came from 3 different players.
Out of here.
Bogarts had 3, Armstrong had 3, and James Wood had 3.
I stole 6, which is a lot for my team.
Yeah.
I felt like that should win most weeks, but no, I get smacked down with 10 this week. Thanks, man. For me on my bench, I went 5 for 29. That's a 172 batting average, 3 runs, a double, a homer, 3 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, 3 walks, and 12 strikeouts. The homer was on Wednesday. I didn't play Marsh instead of Springer. Should have played my Phillies that day, but the Phillies have been cold lately, and it's annoying.
Yeah.
How many ads did I use this week? 6? Okay.
Yeah.
6. Ty Madden on Monday. That felt really good. 5 innings, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, a 180 and a 140 against Chicago. You stream against the White Sox.
You stream against the White Sox.
You stream against the White Sox. Like you don't not do it because you're afraid that the Mets are going to Mets. No, you do it with Ty Madden of the fucking Detroit Tigers, bro.
Yeah, but you know that if I started Tyler McGill, like there's a chance that he would have given up like 3 bombs and
Oh, sure. Andrew Benintendi goes yard twice.
Yeah, it absolutely would have happened.
Yeah. I dropped Madden for Dylan Floro, who took like 5 days to come in and apparently was off working at Rite Aid with fucking Joey Wentz. Dropped Jordan Hicks for Eric Miller for a clean relief appearance. Dropped JT Chargois. Dropped Jack Leiter. Dropped Dylan Floro in a rage for Pedro Avila, who was fucking terrible. Dropped Tim Herron for Mackenzie Gore for next week, and dropped Pedro Avila for Zach Kelly, who cost me whip. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. The MVP this week is Bryce Harper, though it didn't really feel like it. 417 with a 517 on base. Okay. 3 runs, 4 doubles, an RBI, 5 walks, and 3 strikeouts.
I guess Manny was really good too, wasn't he? It could have been Manny.
Yeah, Manny with 3 homers and 9 RBIs. That was pretty nice. I'll tell you what, though, Kyle Schwarber sucks. 074 with a 194, a run, 4 walks, and 12 strikeouts. He's been ice cold in the second half, and he doesn't yet. What does he have? 30 homers yet? No, he still doesn't have 30 homers. He's going to get 100 runs probably. He might push 100 RBIs. I don't know that he's going to push 100 walks either.
Remember when you wouldn't trade him to me?
I mean, listen, he's part of the reason I'm sitting where I am.
For sure.
And he was hitting 260 as recently as July. So like,
so you took him in the 5th round. Would you do that again?
No.
Okay.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
I didn't want to make the Phillies build. Like, he was the 3rd piece of the Phillies build, though. So
it's funny because he, in a way, he's kind of like another version of like Ellie De La Cruz, where it's like, you know, you're going to get some good stuff from him. You're going to get on base. You're going to get walks. You're going to get runs. And you're going to get homers. But you also know that you're going to get a shitty average and no steals and, you know,
strikeouts.
So
a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah. So it's amazing that he bats leadoff. I guess it could be on base, but
yeah,
it's amazing that he can strike out that much and still have a solid on base and hit leadoff.
Yeah, because they have Trey Turner to be the number 2 hitter, who's essentially the leadoff hitter when he doesn't walk.
Yeah.
My Cy Young this week is Framber Valdez. 7 innings, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, nothing earned in an 0.43. Shout out to Marcus Stroman, who got the win and didn't walk anybody, so that was very nice. The Cy Young goes to Dylan Floro or Taylor Rogers or Zach Kelly or JT Chargois or Pedro Avila. There were a bunch of relievers who didn't do their fucking job and ballooned my ERA up over 4 this week and cost me the whip. But otherwise, good week for you, man. Good job.
Yeah, and you too. And you know, look, you're rolling into the playoffs again, and I think, you know, you talk about the Phillies being cold, but eventually they're gonna not be cold. And
I hope so.
You would think, right? I mean, Ben always talks about the law of averages, and you know, if that's a thing, you know, this is the time where you want them to start maybe thawing a little bit. So we'll see.
I would certainly hope that they're going to pick it up here toward the end of the season and roll into the playoffs and be a good team. That tasted awful to say, but like, I'm going to live and die with how they do. I mean, if I'm going to win a championship, they got to get hot here in the final few weeks. And if I'm bounced in the first round, that's what I'm going to point to, is that the Phillies just didn't hit.
Yeah, because I mean, what you did with how you constructed this pitching is, I think, absolutely a piece of art.
Thank you.
You know, with Hader and Presley, and then Phillips and Vesia, like, that's beautiful. And then like pairing Framber with Marcus Stroman, like, and obviously with Garrett Cole, like, yeah, this is a nice staff you got there.
And don't sleep on Gavin Stone, man. He's been the most reliable starter in the Dodgers rotation. He's at 140 innings with a 3.53 and 11 wins. Like, he's been a really nice number 4.
Do you think there's no way they're not gonna cap him, right? He's at 140 innings.
I don't think so.
31. He threw 31 last year.
Wow. He might get capped.
Yeah. So.
But I mean, if they're fighting for the division, they're probably going to throw everything they can. They can't afford to shut him down right now.
Right. At least, I mean, eventually, hopefully they'll get Glasnow back. You're also getting DeGrom back soon, and you Darvish you picked up. So yeah, that pitching is going to be nasty once everybody's healthy and going.
So long as everyone performs. I have very little expectation for you, Darvish and Jacob DeGrom, but you know what? They were names, they were available, and I have to throw them into this rotation and make it a four-headed monster potentially.
Yeah.
But only if they perform. We'll see. We'll see. Let's move on to the next matchup, my friend. We're going to talk about Adam Lowenstein and Cody Pyatt, who Adam gets himself an upset victory here, 10-9, and it could have been a lot worse.
It was a lot worse.
Going into Sunday, it was 13-7.
Yeah.
So Cody flipped walks by a hitter and strikeouts by a pitcher and tied relief appearances in order to make this thing much more palatable. He does slip down to the number 5 spot because of a matchup we're going to talk about here in just a moment. But this was a great comeback on Sunday.
Yeah. If you're not going to get a comeback win on Sunday, have this be your comeback on Sunday.
Right. Close categories this week. Adam wins by a double, 2 stolen bases, 3 wins, and a save. Cody wins by 2 home runs by a hitter, a walk by a hitter, and 3 errors. They tied in triples and relief appearances. For Adam on his bench, he goes 9 for 37. That is a 243 batting average, 3 runs, 4 doubles, 3 RBIs, a steal, and 12 strikeouts. The strikeouts is the only thing that play. He won that by 11, so good job. Congratulations. That would have been really insane to have all of those strikeouts in your lineup, but I digress. He used 7 moves this week. He drops Kodai Senga finally, who's not going to be coming back this year, for Brian Bayo. 8 innings, a win, a walk, 9 strikeouts, nothing earned in an 0-38 against Toronto. That is a good stream.
Yeah. So if you're going to drop Kodai Senga, make that work.
Yeah, make that the guy you drop him for. He drops Kevin Kelly for CNL Perez, clean relief appearance. Drops Logan O'Hoppe for Andrew McCutchen, 1 for 3 with a run and a walk. And Ernie Clement for Daniel Schneemann, 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. Daniel Schneemann. Did you go to Jewish school with him? Is that?
I might have. It sounds familiar.
Yeah. Andrew McCutchen gets dropped for Pete Fairbanks, who's on the IL and probably not coming back. He drops CNL Perez for Danny Young, who did not pitch, and drops Daniel Schneemann for Eugenio Suarez, who I have heard a rumor about this guy that he has the most RBIs since the All-Star break.
Yeah. I know when the Mets were playing the Diamondbacks, they said he had the most RBIs since a certain amount of time. Yeah, he's been the second half. He's been good. He's been
really good.
Much better than he was in the first half.
He was good here, 2 for 5 with 2 runs, a homer, 2 RBIs. Good job, Adam.
Yep.
The MVP this week is going to be Jose Altuve, 292 with a 346, 5 runs, 2 doubles, an RBI, a stolen base, a walk, 4 strikeouts, and an error. The least valuable hitter is Riley Green, 174 with a 240, 3 runs, 2 homers, 3 RBIs, a walk, 11 strikeouts. But that's really the big thing since he lost that by 11.
Yeah.
The Cy Young goes to Yusei Kikuchi.
Yeah,
7 innings.
We're really good.
Yeah, they both were. Bayo was 8 innings, 9 strikeouts, nothing earned, and a win. Kikuchi, 7 innings, a win, 12 strikeouts, a 1.29 and an 0.71. He's been pretty good since he got to Houston.
He's been very good since he got to Houston. His last 6 starts, he hasn't lost since July 20th, and he's striking out the world. He's been really good. It's been a really good pickup for them.
Yeah, they found the next guy to fill their rotation. He's and I think I don't know if he's a free agent or not at the end of the year. Off the top of my head,
I feel like he is.
I'm looking it up because I want to know. You said Kikuchi contract. Come on, Spotrac, tell me.
Yes, he is signed through 2024.
All right.
Yep.
So he's a free agent at the end of the year.
Yes, and he's a Boris client, so he's not resigning.
Nope, he's going to get all of the money he possibly can.
Yep.
Shout out to Adam, who threw to a 2 ERA this week. So getting a Cy Young is rather difficult here. but we're going to give it to Mitchell Parker. 10 innings, 2 losses, a homer, 3 walks, 13 strikeouts, a 450 and a 150.
2 losses, kind of
Yeah,
sucks.
2 losses kind of sucks, but he won every pitching category except for innings and strikeouts.
Right, so it didn't matter.
Right. And he still threw 76 innings and got a 2 ERA. Get the hell out of here.
That's what Cody's saying.
Yeah. For Cody on his bench this week, he goes 3 for 20. That's a 150 batting average, 3 doubles and 4 strikeouts. All three hits on the bench were doubles.
Yes.
That's insane.
That's it. That's a 1 for 4, a 1 for 4, a 1 for 4, and all of them were doubles. That was it.
And he would have won the category if he puts all 3 of them in. Tie it if he gets 1 of them in.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
It's just wild, and it's on all on 3 different days. Like nothing really stood out during the week, but when you look back at it, it's like, yeah, get those 3 in, and it's a whole different week.
8 ads used for Cody this week. He drops Carlos Correa for Eugenio Suarez over 4 with 3 strikeouts. There's Eugenio Suarez that I know.
Yeah.
He drops Lars Nootbaar for Craig Kimbrell, clean relief appearance. Drops Suarez for JT Chargois, clean relief appearance. Drops Craig Kimbrell for Austin Voth, clean relief appearance. He drops Austin Voth for Edward Cabrera, 5 1/3, a win, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, a 169 and a 150 in San Francisco. Very nice. He drops Edward Cabrera for Caden Dana, making his MLB debut for the Los Angeles Angels. 6 innings, a win, a homer, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, a 3 and a 1 against Seattle. Good job, kid.
Yeah, nicely done.
Good job. And JT Chargois gets dropped for Jose Alvarado, who I don't know why he didn't play him. He then dropped Alvarado for Brennan Hanafy, whoever that guy is. He gets added after the bell.
Yeah. Sure.
The MVP this week is Corbin Carroll, 391 with a 423, 8 runs, a double, 5 homers, 11 RBIs, a steal, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. This team is really good.
I mean, what if you pair Corbin Carroll with Jarren Duran? Make that work.
That would be sick,
right?
I would think. Yeah, I mean, if I guess at the 1-2 turn, you might be able to make that happen.
Right.
I don't think you'd be able to do it at the 2-3 because I think one of those guys is gone, if not both, in the second round next year.
It'd be interesting, though.
Yeah. The least valuable hitter is Gunnar Henderson, 160 with a 222, 2 RBIs, a steal, a walk, 5 strikeouts, and an error. Man, he was in Coors Field and didn't hit that well.
No, he had 1 hit all the whole series, and it wasn't good.
No. I mean, offensively, Cody hit 17 home runs, had 45 runs and RBIs, and hit 278. So he didn't really miss out on much because Yordan Alvarez had 5 homers. Pete had 3 homers. That's 13 between Carroll, Yordan, and Pete. Christ.
13. That's like a week for people.
I know. That would have gotten him within 2 of Adam, who had 15 this week.
Yeah, Adam. He hit 15 home runs. You think, okay, cool, and then Cody comes and says, "Nope, I'm gonna hit 17."
Nope, 17 homers. Insane. This team is built to blast, but it's also built to strike out too.
Yes.
The Cy Young goes to Aaron Nola or Tariq Skubal, both of which were very good. Nola, 13 innings, a win, a homer, 2 walks, 15 strikeouts, a 138 and an 077. Tariq Skubal, 8-inning win, 8 strikeouts, a 113 and an 050. The Cy Young goes to Mitch Keller or Bailey Ober. I think it's Ober, man. That start was really bad.
It was. He was much better on Sunday, so he kind of fixed it a little bit, but yeah, that first start was it against Atlanta? Yeah, was awful.
It was really bad. It was 2 innings, a loss, 2 bombs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, a 40-50 and a 450. His Sunday start does make the line look a bit more palatable, but even so, it was a bad start from Bailey Ober and put him behind the 8 ball.
Mitch Keller, though, he's off the team now. This is a guy he stuck with him. He drafted him in the 12th round. He stuck with him. but he had one decent start a couple weeks ago, but otherwise he's been just terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been getting his ass kicked for a couple of starts here.
Yeah.
388 over 157 innings though. That's still okay as like your 4 or 5 starter, which it is here in this rotation.
Sure, but in the last month his ERA is 6.44
Ooh, that's hideous.
in
That's
about 30
hideous.
innings. So not good.
No. No, not good at all. I guess that's what Achilles heel Cody might have is a pitching problem here if in the playoffs if that's going to be his downfall because this offense is just really good.
Oh, the offense is scary. I knew that when I faced him earlier in the season, I was like, I don't. And that was before he had, was it before he had J Rod or just after he got J Rod? But yeah, like if Julio is clicking and you have that with Gunnar and Royce Lewis and Pete Alonso and Carroll, yeah, that's. But you're right. The pitching is where it gets a little tricky because he's got Nola and Skubal at the top, and
Mhm.
after that, it's a little
It's a little bit questionable. He's got Verlander, he's got Cole Reagans and Kevin Gossman. Like those are the next 3. And
right,
Brian Wu is there as well. Like these are good names. If they all pitch well in the same week, holy shit.
right.
But
That's the
I think he's got to be a little more selective on what starts he goes with going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, he can't be afraid to bench a starter,
Mhm.
in a matchup that doesn't work.
Right. All right, let's move on to the penultimate matchup this week. We're going to talk about Jimmy and Jay Ferraro. Jay Ferraro getting a 13-8 win to move into 4th place. He is 21 games over 500. Jimmy takes this L and is not going to make any semblance of playoffs this year. Really unfortunate, but you know what? He's a former champion, and he lost Ronald Acuna in the first like 6 weeks. So sucks. Sucks.
Sucks. Absolutely sucks. It's hard to come back from.
Mm-hmm. On Sunday, it was 10-10, and Jay had himself a Sunday. He flipped walks by a batter, average, on base, and whip, and took strikeouts by a hitter, and got the stat corrections to factor
Yeah,
in as
so
well. What happened there?
well, the White Sox Rangers happened. That
Mm.
suspended game they suspended that game and all the stat corrections flew in on overnight. So I know this matchup was very heavily involved in that. There were a couple others that had issues with that game. But this one was highly impacted by that stat correction.
Gotcha. Jay, in close categories, wins by 3 stolen bases, a walk by a hitter, 2 errors, 1 tick on the batting average, 4 ticks on the on base percentage, 2 wins, a loss, and a home run by a pitcher. Jimmy wins by a double, a triple, 2 home runs by a hitter, a strikeout by a pitcher, and a relief appearance. They did not tie in anything.
Great. I love that.
Yeah. For Jay on his bench this week, he goes 10 for 30. That's a perfect 333 with 5 runs, a double, a homer, 6 RBIs, a steal, a walk, and 6 strikeouts, and benched half his lineup Sunday night.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I don't. And if you look at the line, it's weird because like Jimmy won the first half of the hitting stats and Jay won the second half of the hitting stats. So it's a very curious matchup.
Yeah. Almost all of the counting stats go to Jimmy, and then the ratio stats go to Jay, with the walks and strikeouts
Yeah.
being rather close.
Yeah.
I assume that's why he benched out on Sunday was to block against strikeouts and errors
Yeah. I guess.
or not lose batting average. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty uh good Sunday. He was 4 for 14 with 3 runs, double, 3 RBIs, a steal, a walk. So he had a good Sunday on the
Mhm.
bench, but it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. He used 6 ads this week. He dropped Alex Verdugo for Zach Geloff, 1 for 5 with a double and a strikeout. Dropped Jacob Wilson for J.P. Crawford, 0 for 4 with a run, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Dropped John Schreiber for Fuck Barmer for a clean relief appearance. Dropped Zach Geloff for Ryan Brazier a clean relief appearance. Dropped Spencer Torkelson for Victor Robles, 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a stolen base. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, and, I saw him drop Torkelson. I was surprised because we talked about it last episode, last week, how well he's been doing since he came back. And I'm like, dropping Torkelson. Okay. He picks up Victor Robles, and
this is the result.
This is the result. Like, it worked out.
Yeah. Finish off the week dropping Joe Mantiply for Keegan Thompson. 2 innings, a walk, a strikeout, and a relief appearance. His MVP is Jackson Chourio. Of course it is. 333 with a 379, 5 runs, 3 doubles, 2 homers, 6 RBIs, 2 steals, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts, with a shout out to Seiya Suzuki's 393 and 469 on base. The least valuable hitter, Adley Rutschman, who also had himself a bad time in Coors.
Yeah.
118 with a 250, a run, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts.
Overall, I feel like he's disappointed this year, I think. I mean, it's been good. 18 homers, 61 runs scored, 71 RBIs with a 257. I don't know. You open my eyes to it, but that line is very similar to Carlos Santana.
It is. I mean, he's got 86 strikeouts to 49 walks over 482 at bats. So he's not striking out, but he's not getting on base at the pace that he did last year.
Yeah. I mean, he's been good. I don't feel like he's that superstar level that we were looking for.
Yeah, that we were expecting. Yeah. Him or JT Realmuto next year?
Probably still go with Rutschman. Go with the youth. Go, right. Yeah.
The Cy Young goes to Ben Joyce, a win, 2 saves across 3 1/3 with nothing earned in an 090 whip and 3 relief appearances. Really good there. JP Sears was also really good, apparently. 7 innings, a win, 4 strikeouts, a 1.29 and a 1. The Cy Young goes to Mason Miller, 3 2/3, a loss, 2 saves, a homer, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, a 12.27 and a 2.73 across 3 relief appearances. That's not pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't matter. The saves didn't matter this week. Jimmy doesn't have any closers, so he's not going to fight for that category. But Jimmy did win relief appearances. So.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, yeah, I mean, he got 2 saves, but 1 save was, he was bad. And then he got just blown up on Sunday. So, yeah.
Winning strikeouts by 1, though. Again, this guy had, 4, I think?
5.
So, yeah.
It helped.
It mattered. His appearances mattered. They were just bad.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
For Jimmy on his bench this week, he goes 7 for 20. That's a 350 batting average, which certainly would have helped. 2 runs, an RBI, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. The walk also matters as he lost that category by 1. His moves this week, he used all 10. He dropped Nick Ramirez for Miguel Amaya, 4 for 5, 2 runs, 2 doubles, and 4 RBIs. This is the kid in Chicago?
Yeah, and he's found it.
I like him. him.
Yeah.
He dropped Josh Young for Connor Norby, 1 for 5 with a run and 2 strikeouts. Dropped Brendan Rodgers for Justin Anderson, who was bad in his relief appearance. He dropped Anderson for Andre Palante, who was good against San Diego, and added Paul DeYoung, 1 for 4 with a run and 2 strikeouts. He dropped Kyle Nicholas and Brian King for Hayden Birdsong, who was terrible against Milwaukee. He dropped Birdsong for Jose Quintana, who was good against the White Sox. Dropped Palante for Luis Ortiz, who was very good against Cleveland. And dropped Miguel Rojas for Taj Bradley, who exploded against San Diego. He dropped Bradley for Mitch Spence, who was good against Texas, and then finished out the week dropping Luis Ortiz and Jose Quintana. His MVP this week is JJ Bleday. Yeah, JJ. 444 with a 500, 5 runs, 3 doubles, 2 homers, 5 RBIs, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter is Lou Bob. Forget about Lou Bob. He's not as good as we thought. 091 with a 167, 3 runs, a steal, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. He's just not, man. He's not as good as everybody thought he was going to be. They built the whole team around him, and he's hitting 219.
Yeah, well, they built the team around him, and the whole team sucks. So yeah, he's gonna suck, and he's finally healthy. Right? Did he miss time this year? I guess he did miss
Yeah,
time, but
yeah.
yeah, he did. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, not good.
Pablo Lopez is the Cy Young this week. 7 2/3, a win, 3 strikeouts, nothing earned in an 0.78. And the Cy Young, in fact, does go to Taj Bradley with 2 1/3, a loss, 30.86 ERA, and a 4.29 WHIP.
I, I
Absolutely disgusting.
it makes me grin because ever since I dealt him to Cody, he's been absolutely terrible. I like I got the best of Taj Bradley this year.
You certainly did, man. You
Yeah,
really, really did, because this kid has been bad for a while now.
yeah.
And you know what? Like he's got strikeout upside. He might have the ability to do well next year, but he's probably just a roster filler toward the end of the draft. Like he's not anybody.
Yeah, I don't think you draft him next year to be, a horse or anything like that. Like he's your
And I
4
think
or
the
5.
Rays are going to be bad next year.
Yeah. Yeah. So unless they trade him, which is certainly possible because they're the Rays.
Of course. Of course. All right, let's get on to this final matchup here. It is the matchup that Ben Nisman calls the pillars of the league. They got up to face each other. I'll tell you what, it was Mike Sherman taking on Ari Nisman, and Ari gets a 12-8 win this week. Right? 12-8,
12-7.
12-7,
7.
12-7. Sorry, my computer's having a little bit of a seizure at the moment. There we go. All right, so on Sunday, it was 10-9 going in, and Sherman tied walks by a hitter, but Ari took runs, flipped ERA, and stat corrections played a role in this one as well.
Yeah, yeah, and like you said, pillar matchups. Like these two guys showed up. They're 15th and 16th in the league, but they showed up against each other, and it showed.
Absolutely. Close categories this week. Ari wins by 4 runs, 2 homers by a hitter, an RBI, an error, 2 ticks on the on base percentage, a third of an inning, and 2 losses. Sherman wins by 1 tick on the batting average and 2 saves. They tied in triples and walks by a hitter. For Ari on his bench this week, oh boy, here we go. 21 for 87. It's a 241 batting average with 15 runs, 6 doubles, 5 homers, 11 RBIs, 9 walks, 23 strikeouts, and an error. The 9 walks would have played, and the error certainly would have played.
Tell you what though, that's pretty light for Ari. Like I was doing this, and there wasn't like it wasn't 105 at bats left on the bench or something like that, like he's had
Right.
recently. So this is pretty light for him.
Yeah. 6 ads this week from Ari, which is the most exciting thing about this.
Yes, I think that's the most he's made in like 2 years, I think.
Yeah. He drops Nicky Lopez for Jorge Polanco, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. He adds Nick Martinez for a decent start against Milwaukee and a no decision. He drops Nick Martinez for Shane Baz, who was good against his start in against San Diego. Drops Julian Aguilar for Joey Estes, who was good in Texas. Drops Joey Estes for Cooper Criswell, who was good against Detroit. And drops Shane Baz for Walter Pennington. Who the fuck is that?
He's a middle reliever for the Rangers, and they use him as an opener.
Okay.
I don't know what the
Sure.
point is. Yeah,
You know
but
what?
like
He won by a third of an inning, so there it is.
right, exactly. It's like he planned it.
The MVP this week is Dansby Swanson. 348 with a 444 on base, 9 runs, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 11 RBIs, a steal, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter is Cal Raleigh, 091 with a 231, a run, an RBI, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. The Cy Young goes to Sean Manaea. Man, I love this guy. 13 2/3, 2 wins, a homer, 2 homers, 2 walks, 16 strikeouts, a 198, and an 059. Let's fucking go, Sean Manaea.
Yeah.
Telling you, we bring him back next year.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, because the first half of the year he wasn't pitching 5 innings, but maybe that was by design so that he could be fresh and good to go for the second half, I guess, because he's looked like a completely different pitcher.
He's been fantastic over the last, say, 6 or so starts.
Yeah.
3.35 ERA across 150 innings, and it's been. He had one bad start against Seattle.
Seattle, yeah.
Three innings and 3 earned. Okay, fine. You can have that one. His for Ari's Cy Young, it goes to Jake Irvin and Julian Aguilar. Both were bad. Aguilar 4 innings, a 13.50 and a 2.75. Irvin 4 2/3 with a loss and a 13.50 and a 2.14. Everybody left on the bench on Friday scored a run, huh?
Yes, yes, I thought that was kind of interesting. Again, it didn't really matter at the end of the day, but going through it, it was all ones. Everybody scored one run.
The founding fathers' opponent this week is Mike Sherman, and he is 6 for 15 on the bench. That's a 400 batting average. 4 runs, a double, 3 homers, 5 RBIs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Almost all of that counts here because this was such a close matchup. Home runs is close, RBIs is close, and he had 5 there, a walk, and that was tied category. I mean, this could have been a whole lot closer.
I mean, just what was it, Tuesday? He had Ezekiel Tovar on the bench, and he went. Where is he? Yeah, here he is. 3 for 4 with 2 runs, a double, 2 homers, 4 RBIs. Just right there.
Yeah, there's 2 homers to tie the category. The 4 RBIs wins him the category.
But
and maybe the on base percentage flips.
Right. And so he's starting MJ Melendez and Francisco Alvarez. Alvarez has been awful, which we'll get to. So maybe you don't play Alvarez and you put in Tovar at home against Miami.
Maybe, especially in Colorado.
Right.
Yep. He made 5 ads this week, which is very surprising. He drops Joe Ross and Dednell Nunez for Jose Ferrer. Is it Ferrer? Ferrero Rocher? Sure. He had a clean relief appearance. He added Jacob Barnes for a clean relief appearance and Brennan Bernardino for a bad relief appearance. He drops Declan Cronin, Brennan Bernardino, and Jacob Barnes for Alec Marsh, who was serviceable against Houston, and Miles Michaelis, who was bad against the Yankees. His MVP this week is Willy Adames. 323 with a 344 on base, 7 runs, 5 homers, 10 RBIs, a steal, a walk, 8 strikeouts, and an error. You want me to look at Nolan Jones?
Why do I do? Because he had a good week.
316, 4 runs, 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, a 409 on base. Congratulations. He had a nice week. The least valuable hitter is Francisco Alvarez, 188 with a 188, 2 runs, 2 RBIs, 5 strikeouts, and 2 errors. Cy Young goes to Zach Wheeler. 13 innings, a win, 2 walks, 13 strikeouts, a 138 and an 092. The Cy Young goes to Brennan Bernardino that we talked about. He had a 20.25 ERA across an inning and a third. Gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
It was but otherwise it was a decent pitching matchup. But like the split between average and on base to me was just so fun to see because like
oh yeah,
we're talking about two the pillars. We're talking about two godfathers of this league.
That's it.
To see them split average on base both by hairs was fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 points for Ari on the on base, 1 tick for Mike on the average, and they tied in walks. I mean, this was a hell of a matchup and a hell of a show, reminding us exactly why these founding fathers are as beloved and as entrenched in this league as they are, despite this year's performance.
Yes, absolutely. And despite this year's performance, this is the matchup that they put out. It's great. I love it.
All right, let's get to managers of the week and put a bow on this one so we can figure out what's going to happen in week 21, my friend. Who do you have at number 3?
All right. This was tough. And he's probably not going to want to hear it. But I have to give credit to Costas for laying down our commissioner, our friend Ben, in what probably may be the end of his season. and doing it in like just gut-wrenching style, hitting 3 1/4 the way he did. So hats off to Costas. Sorry, Ben.
Yeah, good job, Costas. I've got him a little bit higher on this list. My number 3 is going to be you, buddy. First time since 2017, getting a great win over me. Congratulations, 9-7, sir.
Thank you, sir. I will definitely take that to the bank.
Who do you have at number 2?
I have Jay Ferraro here, stomping his way into the playoffs and kind of cementing himself in that top six, with that great Sunday against Jimmy, who was a former champion himself, as you mentioned, and he's not, even though he's out of it, he's still making moves, he's still doing the things. So this wasn't necessarily a cakewalk for Jay, and he made a big win, kind of solidifying his presence in the top six.
Yeah, Jay is going to miss out on my top 3 this week only because he was facing the 14th place team. But a great win for him getting into the dance here. My number 2 is going to be Costas for the same reasons we talked about it. His offense just absolutely exploded, and he pitched just a little bit better in order to get a 13-6 win. So congratulations to Costas. Who you got at number 1?
It's gotta be Henry, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that was the matchup of the week that we were all looking forward to, and he took it. He beat Bobby and is, without anything, earth-shattering happening, he is in the top six. So
He controls his destiny, and that was the most important thing, getting a win this week. The winner would control their destiny in week 22. Here we are. Henry gets a 12-7 win over a playoff determined Bobby Russo. We'll
yes.
see if he makes it this year. I certainly hope he does, but it will have to come at the expense of Henry Collins. So we'll see what happens there. Jason, this has been week 21, man. One more to go, and then we're into the promised land. Thanks for being here with me, dude.
Unbelievable. What a ride it's been. And look, yeah, one more week to go, but it's not over yet. And we'll see what week 22 brings. And then, yeah, then it's playoff time. I cannot believe that we're here already. But, dude, it's always a pleasure. I love doing this with you. And, thanks for letting me beat you for once.
Yeah. Congratulations, dude. You earned it. I didn't let you win. You beat me fair and square. You took it down. Congratulations. And guys, we appreciate you being here and doing what you do in this league to make this what it is. We would not have a show without you guys. So until next time, it's been real. It's been fun, and it is always real fun in the bigs. We'll see you next time.